Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, Sandra, and in my last video I unboxed from the Reddit Secret Santa Book Exchange 2019. So, can you guess what I'm gonna do now? Probably know from the title, but I'm going to analyze some of the books that I got. So, let's get started. The Secret. It looks like a really great book. My first thoughts were definitely it looks like a Girl on the Train knockoff, which is funny because right on the back it says if you love the Girl on the Train or Gone Girl, you'll be absolutely hooked. Never read Girl on the Train, never watched it either. I like fantasy. But I'm going to read this because it was gifted to me by a very awesome person and I'm excited to read it. So let's read it. The back says, how do you protect your child if they're keeping a secret? Every day, a woman like Louise passes you in the street. Elegant, confident, determined, but underneath, she's struggling. She doesn't know her sister Alice has been scared of leaving the house since her mother died. She doesn't know when Alice babysits her little boy, Archie, he sometimes sees things he shouldn't. She doesn't know that Archie has a secret that could send cracks through the heart of Louise's carefully constructed life. And this is by K.L. Slater, and on the book it says that she's a Kindle Top 5 best-selling author. I don't have Kindle, which explains why I've never heard of her. So, it does look very good. I'm excited. So let's go right in and read the prologue. This is the book where I got that quote last time. 3 things cannot stay hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth by Buddha. So, I kind of knew it was going to revolve around secrets. Because who wouldn't? But I'm excited to find out what the secret is. Because I like secrets. I do. I like knowing the secrets. I like being in on them. If you have a secret, you can tell me. I most definitely won't share it on YouTube. Who would do that? Okay, prologue. Archie, 18 months earlier. My favorite place isn't real, and that's why it's called a virtual world. It is a place that is far away from real life. Headphones on, volume up high. I can screen everything out when I'm inside a game. You look as if you're just sitting there, but it feels like you're actually leaving your body where it is and setting your mind free in a completely different world. A place where bad stuff only happens to the people on the screen. As someone who's friends with a lot of people that play video games, he's right. It does look like you're just sitting there. Except sometimes they're screaming. Definitely a lot of screaming. Best of all, you can't hear the real life shouting. I take off my headphones and listen. There are no raised voices, no slamming doors, so I get up to go to the bathroom. Everything is quiet as if I'm completely alone. I don't feel scared. I like the silence. I like it better than the sound of adults fighting. The door opposite the bathroom is open a little, and I hear a noise coming from behind it. A sort of puffing, scratching sound. I don't like fighting either. I freeze up, or cry. Don't yell at me. I take a couple steps closer and peer through the crack. For a moment it feels like I'm still in the game world, where things aren't real, where nothing that's in front of your eyes makes any sense. Before I can stop it, my breath catches in my throat. My hand flies up to my mouth, but it's too late. The gasp is already out, and I know I have been heard. I turn to run, but I hear shouting, and I hear a hand clamp on my shoulder. I won't tell, I cry out. I promise I won't tell. Shivers down your spine already. I like the fact that Archie is kind of presented as a normal teenager. I mean, because normal teenagers play games. They don't want to hear shouting or fighting. They don't want to worry about real life. They just want to escape, whether it be to books or video games or YouTube. I think it's great. I think that the fact that we have a place where we can just escape to, like YouTube or video games, is awesome. Because back in the old days, people just got depressed. Now we're still depressed, but we have video games, so, I mean, who's really winning? Us. Duh. I think it's gonna be a great book. I'm really excited to find out what the secret is. I hope it's not just like, oh, she's cheating. because that sounds lame. Don't cheat on people. Also, that would be a really lame plot twist. Where the Forest Meets the Stars, a novel by Glendy Vanderah. And no, I did not say waffle novel, because that doesn't make any sense. Why would I say that? Okay. The back is just quotes from other people. So I'm not going to read those. That doesn't really tell you what the book's about. But I am going to read the inside cover because it is a hardback. Hardbacks are my favorite. Okay. I don't really know what this book's about. I mean, I'm going to read the page so we'll both know what this book's about. But just by looking at the cover, you can't tell what it's about. Where the Forest Meets the Stars, that sounds like... Nobody make fun of me if I say that sounds like John Green. Because it does. Sounds like something he'd name his books. Where she comes from is a mystery. What she's here for is a miracle. After the loss of her mother and her own battle with breast cancer, Joanne Teal returns to her graduate research on nesting birds in rural Illinois, determined to prove that her recent hardships have not broken her. She throws herself into her work from dusk till dawn until her solitary routine is disrupted by the appearance of a mystery child who shows up at her cabin barefoot and covered in bruises. The girl calls herself Ursa, and she claims to have been sent from the stars to witness 5 miracles. With concerns about the child's home situation, Jo reluctantly agrees to let her stay, just until she learns more about Ursa's past. Jo enlists the help of her reclusive neighbor, Gabriel Nash, to help solve the mystery of the charming child. But the more time they spend together, the more questions they have. How does a young girl not only read, but understand Shakespeare? Why do good things keep happening in her presence? And why aren't Jo and Gabe checking out the missing child's website anymore? Though the 3 have formed an incredible bond, they know difficult choices must be made. As the summer nears an end and Ursa gets closer to her 5th miracle, her dangerous past closes in. When it finally catches up to them, all of their painful secrets will be forced into their open, and their fates will be left to the stars. I like this one. This one kind of sounds like she's actually from the stars. Who thinks of a book like this? Not me. I use dragons as plot lines, so. This book does not have a prologue, it just has the first chapter, so we'll read that. The girl could be a changeling. She was almost invisible, her pale face, hoodie, and pants fading into the twilit woods behind her. Her feet were bare. She stood motionless, one arm hugged around a hickory trunk, and she didn't move when the car crunched to the end of the gravel driveway and stopped a few yards away. As she shut down the car, Jo looked away from the girl and gathered binoculars, backpack, and data sheets from the passenger seat. Maybe the kid would return to her fairy realm if she wasn't watching. But the girl was still there when Jo stepped out of the car. "I see you," Jo told the shadow on the hickory. "I know," the girl said. Jo's hiking boots scattered chips of dry mud up the concrete walkway. "Do you need something?" The girl didn't answer. "Why are you on my property?" "I was trying to pet your puppy, but he wouldn't let me." "Same." "He's not my dog." "Whose is he?" "No one's." She opened the door to the screen porch. "You should go home while you still have some light." She flicked on the outside bug bulb and unlocked the door to the house. After she turned on a lamp, she returned to the wooden door and locked it. The girl was only around 9 years old, but she could still be up to something. In 15 minutes, Jo was showered, dressed in a t-shirt, sweatpants, and sandals. Same. She turned on the kitchen lights, drawing a silent batter of insects to the black windows. While she readied grilling supplies, she idly thought of the girl under the hickory tree. She'd be too afraid of the dark woods to stick around. She'd have gone home. Jo brought a marinated chicken breast and 3 vegetable skewers out to the fire pit in a patch of weedy lawn that separated the yellow clapboard house from a few acres of moonlit grassland. The 40s-era rental house was known as Kinney Cottage, was perched on a hill facing the woods, its rear side open to the small prairie that was regularly burned by the owner to keep back the encroaching forest. Jo lit a fire in her stone circle and set the cooking rack over it. As she laid chicken and skewers over the flame, she tensed when a dark shape rounded the corner of the house. The girl. She stopped just a few yards from the fire, watching Joe place the last of the skewers on the grill. "Don't you have a stove?" she asked. "Same." "I do. Why do you cook outside?" Joe sat in one of the 4 ragged lawn chairs. "Because I like to. It smells good." If she was there to mooch food, she'd be disappointed by the empty cupboards of a field biologist with little time for grocery shopping. She spoke with a rural drawl of a local, and her bare feet were evidence that she'd come from a neighboring property. She could damn well go home for supper. The girl edged closer, the fire coloring her apple cheeks and blondish hair, but not her eyes. Still changeling dark holes in her face. "Don't you think it's about time you went home?" Joe said. She came nearer. "I don't have a home on Earth. I came from up there." She pointed towards the sky. "From where?" "Ursa Major." "The constellation?" The girl nodded. "I'm from the Pinwheel Galaxy. It's by the Big Bear's tail." Joe didn't know anything about galaxies, but the name sounded like something a kid would invent. "I've never heard of the Pinwheel Galaxy," Joe said. "That's what your people call it, but we call it something else." Joe could see her eyes now. The intelligent glint in her gaze was oddly shrewd for her baby face, and Joe took it as a sign that she knew it was all in fun. "If you're an alien, why do you look human?" "I'm only using this girl's body." "Tell her to go home while you're in there, will you?" "She can't. She was dead when I took her body. If she went home, her parents would get scared." Duh. It's a zombie thing. Joe had heard of those games, but the girl had come to the wrong house if she was looking for someone to play alien zombie with her. Joe had never been good with kids and make-believe games, even when she was as young as the girl herself. Joe's parents, both scientists, often said her double dose of analytical genes had made her that way. They used to joke about how she'd come out of the womb with an intent frown on her face, as if she were formulating hypotheses about where she was and who all the people in the delivery room were. The alien in a human body watched Joe flip the chicken breast. "You'd better get home for dinner," Joe said. "Your parents will be worried." "I told you, I don't have... Do you need to call someone?" Joe pulled her phone from her pants pocket. "Who would I call?" "How about I call? Tell me your number." "How can I have a number when I came out of the stars?" "Come on, Joe, get with the program." "What about the girl whose body you took? What's her number?" "I don't know anything about her, not even her name." Okay, so this first chapter is longer than I thought it was. It's a lot longer than the prologue on the other book. I don't think I'm gonna go through this whole thing, but so far it's really funny. And it's just touch and go humor. I'm from the stars. I don't have a number. Duh. And just Joe's persistence, I like that. So far I really do like it. I don't think I'm going to keep reading the last chapter because this video is already getting pretty long. And my tongue has stopped working. It doesn't like this amount of reading out loud. I think I'm really going to like both of these books. And one of them is out of my comfort zone. One of them is definitely right in my comfort zone. So I'm definitely going to enjoy Where the Forest Meets the Stars. But I think The Secret is going to challenge me pleasantly. It's going to have me think in a way that I wouldn't usually think. Because my first guess will always and forever be dragons. Duh. It was really fun talking to you guys. Thank you for watching this video if you watched it all the way through. I'm going to go now. I really hope that you guys get a hold of these books and read them with me. That would be awesome. And bye.